All right, good morning. Good morning. Too many edibles during bowling last night? Good morning, everybody. Good morning. There we go. All right, so before I get into the heart of my opening remarks, I wanted to share with all of you a moment that I had recently. It was with a bunch of people on my team, and we were meeting with a client, a relatively new client. So we were in this meeting, and we did a great job. I mean, everybody on the team was firing on all cylinders. And so we knew it, and we could see it on the client's face, and he's a challenging client. He's a great client, but he expects a lot from us. So after the meeting, we went down to the lobby of the building. And we were all sitting there in a circle, and we were getting ready to debrief. But it was just quiet. It was really quiet for a few moments. So I took the opportunity to take a look at everyone's face. And you could see on everybody's faces just this sense of pride and accomplishment, knowing that they had done a great job. But it wasn't just as individuals. You could see it on their faces in the way that they were looking at each other, and that they were just so genuinely happy for each other and what they had done. Now, I'll be honest with you, we attract this type of talent into iProspect, and I'm still not sure exactly how we do it, but obviously we attract talent that comes in that are great subject matter experts and really know their craft. But just the sense of caring and trust, and the fact that collaboration is second nature to all of them. The only word that I can think of to describe everyone is genuine. They're just really genuine, and they care about the work that we do, supporting each other, but most importantly about you as our clients and the work that we do for you. And so not only do we attract these types of people into our agency, but I believe that we attract you as clients that way as well, because I know that you don't only select us to be your partner just because we have subject matter expertise. There's an element of trust, there's confidence, but there's also that likability and the fact that you see us as an extension of your team, and that your responsibility is our responsibility. And I always say this, like the thing I love about being part of an agency is our success is 100% predicated on your success. If we are delivering against your goals, and I say this every year, then we will be successful. And we share in the challenges, we share in the defeats, but we also share in the successes. And this week, this is by far and away the most important week for us. Because not only is this a time for us to come together with you as our clients to dissect what's happening in the industry and understand the challenges and opportunities that are in front of us. And not only is this a time for us to come together and for you to develop a deeper bond with your day-to-day team and to also see the depth of the agency, but this is a time for us to come together and celebrate our relationships. Celebrate everything that we've accomplished, but more importantly, celebrate what's on the journey ahead. And that's why it's so exciting. And I know that you share in that celebration because this year we have the largest client turnout that we have ever had. And I thank you for that. I thank you for making that time in your schedules to be here with us and to celebrate all that we've done and all that we'll do. So on behalf of myself and everyone that's here for iProspect, but everyone that we are broadcasting to right now that are in the offices all around the country, thank you. Thank you for being here. Welcome to the Broadmoor. Welcome to this gorgeous part of our country, and welcome to the 2018 Summit. So a few other thank yous to our sponsors. This summit wouldn't be possible without you. You will see their logos spread throughout the conference, and their representatives are here and they are part of every aspect of the conference. I thank you for your partnership with iProspect, but most importantly, I thank you for the support of our clients. And they are our clients. They are as much your clients as they are ours, and I thank you for all of your help and support. For our clients, our partners, and our iProspect staff that took the time to put together content. I know how hard it is, especially for our staff when we're sitting there going through reviews. I know I drive you crazy. But I appreciate all that you've done because the content is the substance of this conference. It is the substance, and it's what makes it so special. So thank you for all of that. And then finally, we have a bigger marketing team now. But the heavy lifting for this conference is really done by two people, Katie Bufano, Rachel Cabrera. These two kind of single-handedly, double-handedly put this conference together. And we are 6 minutes into it, Katie, but I know that you guys have already reset the bar. Everyone said that to me last night, and I know that it's going to be a huge success. So thank you for all of your efforts. Okay. Every year, I go to a global conference for our network, for the Dentsu Aegis network. Now, iProspect is one of the agencies in the US. There's over 25. There's even more agencies around the world. And we have roughly about 45,000 people that are part of our network. Now, obviously, the conference isn't for all 45,000. It's for a group that is roughly around the size of this group right here. And we meet in some part of the world each year, and we get together to talk about what's going on in our space, what are our plans for the future, but most importantly, what are the strategies that we have to put in place to drive our clients' businesses forward. And so this year, our global CEO of Dentsu Inc., Toshiro Yamamoto, he spoke to us for the first time in his new role. And I wanted to share with you a couple of the things that he said because I feel like they're really pertinent for us, the space that we're in and the theme of our conference. So the first thing that he said, and I think that you'll all really like this, was he was talking about our space, and he called it chaos. He said it's chaotic. And we all kind of chuckled, but it's true, it is, it's chaos. I mean, look at your to-do lists every day. I'm sure those are chaos. Think about everything that's going on and all of the things that we need to connect together to get a campaign running and collect results and understand how it's performing. It is chaotic. Now, personally, I love the chaos. I love it. I love that one day is different from the next day, which is going to be different from the next day. I love not knowing what's coming around the corner and the fact that it could be a pleasant surprise or it could be some overwhelming challenge. I love that. And I think, dare I say, that all of us in this room, because we chose to be in this space, kind of love a little bit of chaos as well. And we love that uncertainty. But then he attached a word to it, to the front of it. And I think that this is really important too, because what he called it was beautiful. He said it's beautiful chaos. Because when the chaos can come together, and we've all seen this, when we connect all of the dots, when we've got that common thread and that connective tissue, and everything is working, it's really beautiful. And the results can be astounding. And I know we've all experienced that. And so I loved this idea of beautiful chaos. And then he went on and he started to talk about chaos, and he said, you know, the thing about chaos that's really interesting is it breeds disruption. It breeds it. The nature of chaos is that it breeds disruption. And so he challenged us with two questions. He said, so if we're in this world of beautiful chaos and it breeds disruption, how do you know when disruption is going to happen? How do you know? Now, he's very measured and calm and deliberate with his words. So he said this, and then he paused, and he just looked at us. And we were all pondering his question. And then he just simply said to us, he said, you don't know when disruption is going to happen. And I mean, think about that. We really don't know. I mean, there's certain things that we can plan for in seasonality in whatever business that we're in, but we don't know when real disruption is about to take place and whether it's going to be positive or if it's going to be challenging. And so then he said to us, so if you don't know, what do? Well, you make plans. You know, you look at when it's happened in the past, you look at what was successful, you build on that, you look at what didn't work, and you figure out how you course correct that, and then you make your plans and you put them in place. But then he said to us, and this was his second question, he said, how do you know if your plans are going to work? And then he paused, and he looked at us for a little while. And then he just said, very simply, you don't. You don't know if your plans are going to work. You put them in place, it happens, you react, you respond, you do exactly what you did when you put them together. You keep focusing on what works, and you course correct what doesn't. Now for me, there's a lot of comfort in knowing that you don't know if your plans are going to work. And the reason is because it kind of keeps you on your toes. You have to constantly be at the ready for what's coming next. And it's the #1 safeguard against the enemy of all of us, which is complacency. So I kind of love the idea, and I loved hearing him say that we don't know when these things are going to happen, and we don't know if our plans are going to work, and we just have to get as prepared as we possibly can. But I was also thinking about this, and I was thinking about this idea of disruption and not knowing when it was going to take place. And I thought about it, and the one thing is even though we don't know when it's going to take place, it is not an excuse for us to not get ahead of the curve and do everything that we can to get ahead of what may be coming next, to try and get a peek around the corner of how we understand what is going to come next. And that is our job as your agency. That's our role, is to not only make sense of the chaos and turn it into something of beauty, but stay ahead of what's going on and keep up with this pace of change. Now, we all know the pace of change is incredibly fast. And actually, someone backstage was saying to me, it's a great time to be alive right now with all of the change that's happening. And it is, it's true. And this weekend, I was reminded of the pace of change by my daughter, my oldest daughter, Emma. She's 13. And no, this isn't a story of how she uses some device better than I do. It was actually, she loves, I don't know why she loves this, but she loves to watch 80s movies with me. It's like it's some portal back in time to when I was a teenager. So and any of you that were alive and around during the 80s, I'm sure you'll love this example. So we're watching this movie, and this couple was on a plane, and the plane was about to land, and they're showing them as it's landing, and they're smiling, and then Emma looks at them, and she's like, "Dad, what are they wearing?" And wasn't their outfits, mind you, wasn't their outfits. They had headphones on, but they were those headphones that looked like a stethoscope, you know those ones? She was like, "What are those?" And I was like, "Sweetie, those are headphones." She was like, "What?" People wore those kind of headphones back then? And I was like, "Yeah." And then she said, "Oh my God, I wouldn't be caught dead in those things." And I was like, "All right, honey, I know, I get it." And she's like, "Did you wear them?" I was like, "Well, when I was on a plane in the 80s, yeah, I did." Anyway, it reminded me of change, and not just change today, but how change was back then. Now, from my perspective, you know, in the 80s and even into the 90s, it was, yes, change was happening, and we were experiencing a lot of cultural change and political change, but it was a slow pace, it was steady, and especially in our industry. And even as we got into the 90s, and then we could start to see it accelerate and change. And there was resistance and there was fight against that change in the early part of the century, but it continued to accelerate and grow. And now we're at a place, and we all know this, we all know it, we're at a place where the speed of change is epic. It's absolutely epic, and it's only getting faster. And all of this change, I mean, what it's done, and we know this as individuals as well as marketers within our businesses, is it's created the opportunity for us to get information, to transact, to build relationships with each other and with brands in any way, shape, or form that we want. And that's really exciting, and it breeds a lot of opportunity, but it also breeds a lot of challenges. Because if you think about it right now, what happens in the space that we're in is that it's created, all of this change has created a level of perfect competition. So it doesn't matter what business vertical you're in, and it doesn't matter who you're competing against. You're not just competing against companies that sell products or services that are similar to yours. You're competing against everyone. You're competing against experience. If you think about it, you're all in some way, shape, or form, even if you're partnering with, say, someone like Amazon, you're competing against them too because they're creating an experience. And that experience breeds expectation. And we refer to it internally as the expectation economy. And the bar for expectations keeps getting reset, and it goes higher. But there is an opportunity for all of us to reset expectations. It doesn't have to be just driven by the big behemoths. We can all reset what expectations look like in the expectation economy. Because right now, we are living in a world where it has never been easier, ever, to connect with the people that you want to connect with. But it has never been harder to keep their attention. Now, Nick Bryan, who's our CEO of the Americas for the network, he's here with us. And when he first started, he talked about this. And he talked about the fact that we are no longer living in a B2C or a B2B world. It doesn't matter if you're selling to businesses or consumers. It is a C2B world. The consumers are in control. And we all know this, and we see it, and we experience it in our businesses every single day. So given this expectation economy, and it's all about the experiences, how do we get ahead? How do we start to see what's coming next and get around the corner and understand how we brace for disruption and how we prepare for this change? Where do we start? Is it with technology? A platform? A stack? Data? Collecting every piece of data that we possibly can, stitching it all together, having some of our data scientists put together predictive models that can help us understand what's coming next? Yeah, that's definitely part of it. But where we begin, where we start, is by knowing people. That's where we begin. People. That is the source of how we understand how the trends are impacting individuals, people at scale, our businesses. And understanding people is the key, but not cookies or data sets or proxies, actual people. And we're going to talk to you over the next 2 days about assets that we've got and how we piece all this information together about people and create those personalized experiences. Because when you know people and you understand them, that's when you're going to win. I mean, if you think about it in your everyday lives right now, and people you know, or people, more importantly, who know you, they know what you like, they know what you don't like, they know how to make you happy, they probably know how to drive you crazy. But the one thing that they do know for sure is they know how to elicit a response. And that's the important thing, because then you can start to put the technology and the stacks and all of the data sets to work when you elicit that response. Now, as an industry, when we think about personalization and we think about knowing people, we're doing okay. There are, for sure, pockets of excellence. And you see it working well, especially on some of the media fronts, with some of the bigger platforms. But it is our job to figure out how we harness this information and really put it together. But it's also our job to be brilliant at the basics. We've got to get the basics right to really unlock the potential. And if you think about some of the basics, like think about one of the most common things that we all do as marketers, and we've all experienced as people. Retargeting. Incredibly effective, always drives great results, but it's not always done correctly. I won't name the retailer, but I bought a bunch of bags not too long ago. Some duffel bags, backpacks for my kids, got them all monogrammed, spent a few $100s, had a good experience buying them. It's all done digitally. Completed the transaction, got the bags, and the day after I completed the transaction, I started getting retargeted. For what? The bags. Thank you, Matt. Yes, the bags. The exact same bags that I bought. Now, I'm in the space, and I'm like, okay, all right, so I'm getting retargeted. Day 2, I get retargeted again. I'm like, okay, funny, haha. Next day, I get retargeted again. And this just goes on for 4 weeks. I kept getting retargeted for the same bags that I just bought. But the point isn't just that they were retargeting me, it was that they were spending money on me and wasting that money. But even more important than that was with every impression and every dollar that they were spending to serve me an ad for the stuff that I had already bought, they were now creating a negative relationship. And they were demonstrating that they didn't know me, and they didn't know me as a person. And now I've never bought bags from them again. Shockingly. And I think that's the point, is we have to know people, and we have to understand them, and we have to know when we communicate to them, what we say to them, and also when we don't. Nick always says to us, our job for you as our clients is to win, keep, and grow. Really simple. It's in black and white. Win, keep, and grow. Win customers, keep those customers, and grow those relationships. And that's how we stay ahead of the curve. And that's how we redefine the value equation. And those are the things that we're going to cover over the course of the next 2 days. And we're really excited to do that, because all of the ingredients are here. We can piece it all together. But we have to do it together. And it's not just us, and it's not just you. It's going to require a team effort to really get that done. Because the power of when you do get it done, if I go back to what I said at the beginning, I know my team. They don't even have to say a word to me, and I can see exactly what it is that they're thinking and how they're feeling. And when I know them and I understand them, then I can help unlock their potential. And it's the same for us doing this with all of the audiences that you want to talk to at scale. It is the exact same. We've just got to start with knowing people.